Hi, I'm Michael, and today I'm going to talk about distributed AI for financial enterprises with a very interesting guest, Juha Lamminkari. Juha, I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Juha is an expert in user-centric development in a variety of industries and is running a distributed AI-focused startup, AI Unbound,
Yep.
that's focused on distributed AI. Can you tell us something more about that?
Well, basically, as you mentioned, 20 years of history in large enterprises, and now that AI is coming into the field, finally found a technology that can help those big enterprises gain traction and get proper benefits from AI. So jumped at that and been doing that for a few years now.
You mentioned distributed AI, and AI itself is already quite confusing for people like me, for example. I'm not really sure I really get what AI really is, and then there's distributed AI. So what's the difference between the normal AI and the distributed AI in the plain word?
Basically, the difference is that with traditional AI, all the data needs to be harmonized. It needs to be in the exact same format. And let's say ChatGPT is exactly the same format. If you have a large organization that has legacy, they are going to have tens, even hundreds of systems and data sources that are not going to be harmonized. So they don't get access to use all of the data they have. And when you have distributed AI, you just put a small model in each and every data source, and then you combine it. So then you can have access to all of the data the organization has.
So if I understand it correctly, it's a way to walk around the high entry level of starting to actually use and leverage AI on a daily basis if you're an enterprise, because you can basically skip the harmonization of data step. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So if I go back to the example I just used, ChatGPT, they've used 5 years from scratch teaching the models and come up with what they have now. Imagine if they would have had to spend, first 5 years of trying to get harmonized.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about here.
Okay, but all right, we already used the word ChatGPT twice in this conversation, 3 times already. I think like I'm gonna open the fridge and there's gonna be ChatGPT. But why would you even bother about distributed AI if there is already AIs like ChatGPT? Why wouldn't I just use something that's ready and care about distributed AI?
Well, it's only a language model.
Okay.
If you want to, for example, do banking risk analysis, a language model is completely useless to you. It's a completely different ball game. If you're in heavy industry and you want to be able to tell your customer when the end result is going to be delivered, the same here. You need to be able to access tens of different systems with multiple tens of different access points, and that creates hundreds of thousands of different scenarios. So you're just going to need AI for all of the systems which were not harmonized, which you need small models to run in each and every system.
Okay, the context of this conversation is specifically financial enterprises because that's yours and ours, let's say, area of expertise. You already mentioned few use cases, but I'm really keen on diving a bit deeper into that. As a financial enterprise or as a bank or as a big insurer, what is for me the best use case for distributed AI? Where should I consider applying it? What are the processes?
Well, let's say lowest hanging fruits would be know your customer and anti-money laundering. Because when you have in banking, it's in a way a wet dream of a model, machine learning model developer or a teacher, because you have 10 years worth of history, all the events, all the billions of events and the results. And so the model will, the prognosis or the predictive capabilities of the model will be out of this world based compared with models that were where a person tried to guess like what could be a warning signal and then create an algorithm to find those.
Okay, I understand, but perhaps I'm going to steer it a bit now. You're saying that banking is a perfect space or context to apply AI because banks are obliged to aggregate data. So you can already tap into a lot of data and process it. So then, why would you need distributed AI for that if your data is already harmonized? There's no need to harmonize the data because it's already harmonized according to the regulations.
So many different providers, so many different systems, so many different. So even if the very end result is according to a set of rules, everything that happens before it is going to be different.
Okay, so the data is there, which is an advantage, but it's not ready for traditional AI because it's not harmonized, which is a disadvantage at the same time. And here where the magic wand of distributed AI comes into play.
Well, it's not a magic wand. It's a heaps of work to go to each and every data source and create the models, but you can do it. And compared to the amount of work of trying to harmonize, the difference is huge.
Yeah, it's time to market. That's what you get going distributed versus traditional.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to, because we took a step aside from the use cases. You mentioned KYC, you mentioned AML processes. What other applications are currently and potentially available for someone who would like to use distributed AI?
Well, another use case would be credit rating regulation, which is huge. It's basically the biggest amount of cash influence for a bank, and why at the moment it's been done by people. You have 10, 20, 30 people, consultants trying to
Very expensive ones, I guess.
Yep, extremely. Trying to make the papers look exactly as good as they possibly can. Then you have the analyst trying to guess what's been done to it. Then there is tens and hundreds of different algorithms and tools for making assessments based on that data. And then there is the regulator, which goes like...
I'm already tired and out of money just listening about that.
Yeah, and if you have a possibility to create a machine learning model that is based on huge amounts of data and finding patterns of risk, and then running all the data every day, all the events that happen daily for each and every company through the model, it just cannot be anything but more accurate. It just cannot.
Sounds really like a wet dream, but does the European Banking Authority already allow to use AI for credit risk regulations, KYC, ML? Is it already there? Is the regulation there?
Not yet. It was in 2021 when EBA sent questions to all the relevant players about how it should be done.
Okay.
And the process has been running since, and it's widely regarded as going to happen that neural network-based systems will be meaning AI.
Why is it challenging? What's the biggest challenge with allowing, like on a regulatory basis, AI to be used?
There is the problem that when you teach a model, you then run data through it that has been that the source is in between, inside the data it was trained with. You don't get false positives and false negatives. But the data you run through it can also be from outside the teaching material. And then you can have false negatives and false positives. And that's been the basic problem of the regulators, because it's a black box. Nobody knows how it works. Not us, not them, nobody. And, but we have a solution for that also, finding out if or not the data set that's been run through has been inside the teaching model or not. And we can exclude the false positives and false negatives, or even if they were right. But anyway, we can exclude everything that was not part of the original teaching data.
So as far as I understand, there's the accuracy challenge with the results, and there's the black box challenge where you actually don't know what's going on inside and why does it come up with the answers that it comes up with.
Yeah.
Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong, since the regulatory work is still ongoing, it's going to take some time until it's done. We're now speaking mid-2023, that's when we are having this conversation. So if an enterprise or a bank or an insurer in the financial context would like to approach distributed AI, now is the best time, because you can have the unfair competitive advantage against other companies who will only start doing it once the regulator clears it. Is that correct?
Yeah. When the questions came in, I made a round of questions around the people working in the field, and the kind of best guess was that it usually takes 3 years, something like that. And since it was a turn of 21, 22, we might be looking at 24, 25 latest.
It's just around the corner.
Yeah, and it's going to take a year or two to get the models running anyway. So now is the time, the ones who are doing it now, they will have more accurate predictions to provide to the regulators. Some are going to win big, some not.
Yeah.
But that's always the case.
Thank you for explaining that, and thank you for shedding some more light on distributed AI for financial enterprises. Thanks, Juha.
Thanks for having me.